Welcome to Heal with Grayson. I am your host today, Grayson Kahn. And today I want to talk to you guys about how I created my unique healing process and where I started, the journey, and how I got to where I am today. So back in 2020, I think 2020 was the beginning. Back in 2020, I started experimenting with different healing modalities. And the first one that I was drawn to was emotion code. So for those of you who don't know what it is, you basically meet with an emotion code practitioner and they muscle test to see where different trapped emotions are stuck in your body. Now, I always thought it was really cool because every single time I got muscle tested, my physical body would respond. And I thought, oh my gosh, I'm actually releasing this emotional energy. This is pretty cool. And somebody who grew up in a narcissistic family system, your emotions were suppressed all the time. You were not allowed to be emotionally vulnerable. You were not allowed to authentically express your emotions. It was never safe to be emotional. And so to reconnect with my emotions in that way was just very healing for me. And so fast forward to 2021, I got past life regressed for the first time. And I just remember feeling so emotionally heavy. For those of y'all who haven't seen my dream interpretations of my Holocaust past lifetime video on YouTube, definitely go check that out. It's very interesting. My YouTube tag is Grayson Kahn, so my first and last name, 888. Anyways, that was the lifetime that came up. It was my first regression that I did, and that was the first lifetime that came up. And so many things just made sense, and I got a lot of clarity on why I was just such a sensitive person in the first place. And anyways, super crazy lifetime. I'm not going to get into it, but yeah, I just remember sitting up after that session and remember how heavy I was feeling emotionally. And the medium I was working with, she said, oh, go buy some carnelian. It'll help you with what you're feeling. And so I thought, okay. And I went and bought some carnelian upstairs. And I just remember sleeping with it. And I felt like it just wasn't doing anything, to be quite honest. I loved the crystal. I loved the way it felt. But I felt like the enormity of that past lifetime, I'm sorry, but I'm not sorry. That one tiny carnelian crystal just was not going to fix and totally heal me. And so I had this idea of, why don't I just pull out this heaviness out of myself? I'm not going to go back to the emotion code practitioner. I'm just going to do it myself. Now, how can I figure this out? And what I ended up figuring out was, as long as I use my free will and my intentions, I can basically do anything I want with my energy and my trauma. Now, I will say we all have soul contracts. We all have higher contracts at play that our souls chose to go through. Our souls chose to go through the good, the bad, and the ugly. And I will say, you can't always you can override some of the contracts, but you really don't want to, right? Your soul wouldn't have wrote them in for a reason. So my biggest thing was, I want to know, is this current contract, or are these current contracts serving my highest good? Is it serving my highest timeline? And if I got no, then I was like, okay, well, I'm just going to override these contracts. And so what I would do was, I started with emotions, and I said, okay, I'm going to channel how many different emotions are inside of my soul, inside of my non-physical aspect. And I thought to myself, okay, I got to start somewhere. Let's just start with my soul. And so I just pulled up the emotion code chart that the emotion code practitioner was using. And I said, okay, is there abandonment in here? Yes. Okay, well, how many layers of abandonment are inside of my soul, right? Where is this abandonment at? Is there abandonment in my chakra system, right? Is it stuck just floating around my feminine energy, my masculine energy? And then I just started creating energetic filters from literally my healing process, my spiritual hygiene. It's so trippy to think about, because I actually haven't reflected on this at all, as I sit here and think about this now. But anyways, And then I started making a list. I started making a list of different filters. Like, okay, I'm going to go through my chakra system. I'm going to go through my soul. Ooh, you know what? I just had this idea. Let me go through my physical organs in my body. I wonder, is there anger actually stuck in my physical body? Like, is there anger stuck in my liver? Sometimes I'd get yes. Sometimes I get there's resentment stuck in there. And then I would channel how many layers, right? Because in the emotion code session, the lady was like, oh, well, you have 2 layers of this emotion here in this organ. And I thought, interesting. Okay, well, now I'm going to see where else, I might have different layers of emotions inside of my energy. And then eventually I started building this catalog of different places to search for in my energy. I mean, there's just so many places, but to give a couple, there's your nervous system, which is a huge role. Oh my gosh, I have healed so much stuff from healing my nervous system. Your chakra system harbors a lot of stuff. Your feminine energy, your masculine energy, your meridians. So if you look up Chinese meridians, I found stuff in there. I've gone into the psyche, the subconscious mind. I mean, you name it, your energy, like your entire energy. I have just organically figured out so many different things just throughout the past 5 years. And I've built this entire catalog of my unique creative healing process and all my different unique energetic filters that I will go through and scan. And I also want to talk about how I come up with knowing what needs to be healed. For example, I just exited a narcissistic family system, okay? And I would say, let's see. I want to start with chronic fatigue healing syndrome. I'm actually going to make a YouTube video on this. I realized that I was having trouble sleeping consistently and getting a good night's sleep, having a restorative, good quality sleep every single night. Like I was tossing and turning, waking up in the middle of the night constantly. Like I just literally could not sleep and I didn't know why. And I literally invested in like the best of the bedding. I have a $400 comforter, nice sheets, nice pillows, a nice mattress. Like I'm very careful with my bedroom, how I set it up, removing technology at night, unplugging my things, like not having a TV in there, right? Like I really try to set it up as best as I could. And I'm like, why am I not sleeping at night? And eventually I channeled that I was suffering from not only just chronic fatigue syndrome, but other stuff as well from maternal narcissistic abuse. But the chronic fatigue syndrome was a result of me being energetically gassed out, like my nervous system being gassed the fuck out. And it was just crazy. It was crazy to have that realization, and I could feel the inflammation in my brain. It was affecting my physiology. Wow, guys, I cannot talk. It was affecting my physiology. It was so bad. And so I thought to myself, okay, well, how can I heal chronic fatigue syndrome out of my body? So I went on ChatGPT. I said, what is chronic fatigue syndrome? Where does it manifest in the physical body? And then I just basically extracted all that information, went through my organic filters that I cataloged for my own healing journey, and then I just combined this big one, how to step-by-step, how to heal this chronic fatigue syndrome out of my energy. Now, I will say, if you're still involved in a narcissistic relationship intimately, or if you're still around narcissistic family members, if you live with one, if you still keep in contact with them, I will say this energy healing will still work, but I mean, if you think about it, like why would you go to the lengths of performing this energy healing on yourself and then still wanting to keep that like disease-like energy around you? It's like you literally have to cut that off at the source. And I totally understand firsthand how hard that is to do. Trust me, it was not an easy decision. However, it is going to be the best, hardest decision you ever make in your entire life. And once you process all that grief, once you process everything of that fantasy that you projected out from being a child of like you like projected this idea of the kind of mom that you wanted, and you're still projecting that subconsciously onto your narcissistic mother, but it's like you're never going to get that, and you have to come to like reality about that situation and really just make that hard choice. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people will say, oh, I just go like minimal distance and I keep conversation to a bare minimum. But I will tell you from a psychic perspective that people choose the way they want to choose to behave towards somebody. They are choosing consciously right now. Like, I'm choosing to make this podcast to inspire, to heal, to educate, right? That's my intention. That's my choice. That's my free will. The narcissistic individuals that are out there are choosing consciously to put you down, to shit on you, to want to erode your self-esteem. They are choosing that consciously. Why? Girl, boy, because the biggest thing is they are cowards. They are pure cowards. They are the biggest cowards on this fucking planet. They are too much of a pussy to want to heal themselves, that they would rather hurt somebody else because they get this disgusting satisfaction off of it, right? Like, they're like, well, I went through this pain and this happened to me. And so, I don't care that you're my own daughter. I want you to suffer because I had to suffer in my mother-daughter family dynamic. So I'm going to project all of this shit onto you that's not even yours to begin with. And you know what? I'm never going to love you as a mother because my mother never loved me, right? It's like that same phrase, hurt people, okay? Consciously and subconsciously, but especially narcissists. Narcissists consciously hurt you. They choose to consciously hurt you. And the faster you realize this and the faster you can shift your conscious perspective that they are literally just dark entities in human form, that's going to help you make the right choice for you. That's all I'm going to say. So anyways, totally went on that long tangent, but I felt like it was necessary. And yeah, I just wanted to give you guys a little insight, a little window on how I even constructed this process and how I still carry it out to this day. So yeah, with a combination of intuitive insights, channeling, and extracting information from technology and wisdom and books, and sometimes other people, that is literally, I will just combine it into this melting pot of a step-by-step process. And that is literally what I do. And my biggest, wholest, purest intention is to eradicate suffering as much as physically, humanly, and non-physically possible in this incarnation. And that is what my process is designed to do. Because I always thought to myself, you know what? I read this oracle card out of my deck a couple of days ago. And it said, suffering is optional. Suffering is a choice. And I thought, okay, well, if suffering's a choice, well, it's going to be my choice to undo that suffering. How can I undo that suffering? Well, I'm going to go into my energy and figure out how to let go all of the trauma, all of the bullshit, all the stuck energy. I'm going to deprogram everything that's not mine. I'm going to get rid of everything and just totally wipe my flash drive, right? Of stuff that's no longer serving my highest timeline and reprogram what I want to fucking do. I want to reprogram my energy for my dream life. My dream life is pure freedom in all aspects of my life. Freedom in my bank account, freedom in my friendships and my relationships and my job. And it's like, I'm still on this journey, 5 years into this, and I'm still here. I'm not going to say that it's going to take you 5 years, but it took me quite some time because I had to learn my process organically so that I could turn around and walk everybody else down this path a lot quicker and save you guys a lot of time, resources, and energy to help you eradicate your own suffering. So, any whoosies, that is all I have for you guys today. If you're totally into me channeling for you, doing your personal dream interpretations, life advice, spiritual advice, questions, whatever it is that you personally want to know and get involved with me, I have a unique private Patreon membership. It is only $25 a month. You are free to come and go as you please. So if you want to join for 1 month and peace out, you totally can. I just started it and I don't have any members at the time. So I'm waiting for that original OG member to join first. I'm excited to see who's going to come on first because you will forever go down in history in this incarnation for me. But yeah, if you want a more private community and you really just are into self-healing and spiritual hygiene as much as I am, you're into growth, you're into expanding your consciousness and all the things cool that are non-physical, go check that membership out. I will post that link in the episode notes below. And yeah, stay tuned for my next podcast launching next Sunday. My next YouTube video will be in February, at the beginning of February. I'm going to be teaching all of you how to cord cut with financial adversity. So I'm going to be helping as much souls that want to be helped end their financially struggling contracts. Okay, so we're going to put it into that and start connecting more to a higher vibrational experience with money and finances. All right, guys, I will see y'all next Sunday. And yeah, I love you so much. Bye for now.